Good morning everyone. I am Professor Mangesh Joshi. So today we are going to see the programs which are important. So let us start with the first program on. So I am writing the aim of this program, which is write a program using classes and objects to display the sum of main diagonal elements of a square matrix. So I will tell you how to start. So how to think when you get such aim to write the program. So what you can see, so you have to use classes and object. What you have to do, so the answer is to display the sum of diagonal elements of a square matrix. So just like you solve any numerical, just note down what is given. So it will make various things much simpler. So first given is you have to use classes and object, which is a C++ object oriented based program you have to make. Second given is you have to display the sum, or I would rather note down that it is a square matrix. So you have to get the square matrix. And third given is what you have to do in this program, that is the main, what is objective is to display the sum of diagonal elements. So this we have to do. So as you can see, you have to do it using classes and objects. So you must declare a class. So let us say I say the class as numbers. Okay. So first of all, I will just create the blank format of the class. So this is the blank format of the class. So I would say public. I will just create the section. Then I would create a blank function of get data. Then I would say I would display sum you have to do. So just I will take one function as void sum, and to display the sum I will create a function called as display. So I'm just creating the blank structure. Then I will require a void main function. CLR SCR for clearing the screen. Then I would require an object to enter the matrix. So let us say I am developing or creating object n from numbers class. So I would say n dot get data, then n dot sum. It will calculate the sum of diagonal elements, and then n dot display. So it will display the sum, and finally get ch. So the blank I have created. So just remember that we have to create this blank without any error. So your blank should be error free, right? Once this is error free, you can add one by one all the elements. So let us run the program. So you can see I am not getting anything on the screen because we have not done anything over here. So this program is running. So there is no error in the program, right? So now I would add the square matrix, right? So I will just display Cout, enter the square matrix. Right now I would require one square matrix, so I have to declare it. So let's say integer square matrix is there, A of let's say 3 by 3. Since it is not mentioned the size of matrix, you can take any size of matrix. So I am taking a 3 by 3 matrix. Let us declare one more variable, integer float, not integer sum, to store the sum of elements. For looping, we will require variables maybe I and j for calculating the diagonal elements, right? So here you can write for loop for getting the variable. So I equals to 0, I less than 3. Since there are 3 elements, I plus plus. You will require one more for loop, j equals to 0, j less than 3, and j plus plus. So you will be doing C in A of I j, right? So this will get the matrix. So this for is completed over here, then this for is completed over here, right? So you can see that the get data function we have written, right? So second is to calculate the sum. So in the sum function we will be requiring again this for loop. So I am simply copying it. Right. So I am just copying it, and in same way I am pasting it in the sum function. So it is pasted. Now how to calculate the diagonal element? So you can easily see that when the value of I will be equals to j, in that case it is a diagonal element. So I'm just writing the statement, it is if I compares with j. So whenever I will compare with j, so I will be doing sum equals to sum plus a of I j. Now since we have not defined any value for sum, so I will be making, okay, the problem is the variable name and function name is same, so I have to change the variable name. So I will be summing up to sum1. So I will be just changing this sum1 here and sum1 here. So again we forgot to give the end bracket to if, right? So sum has to be declared equals to 0, defined equals to 0. So sum1 equals to 0, because it will otherwise take the garbage value. So we have defined sum equals to 0, sum1 equals to 0. So this is the sum function. You just have to check whether all the curly brackets are given properly and ended properly. So this is the end of if, this is end of for, this is end of this for, and this is end of void sum. Now in the display function you will be only calculating the sum. So sum of diagonal elements is equals to the value of sum1, right? So in this case you can write all the functions and then just save before running any program. So let's see whether this works or not. So the program is asking for enter the square matrix. So let's say I am entering 1 1 1 2 2 2 and 3 3 3. So if the program is correct, then it should display 1 plus 2 plus 3, all the diagonal element. So the answer is 3 plus 2 plus 1, that is 6. Let's check. So the program is correctly displaying the value of diagonal elements, that is 6. So in this way you can solve this question which was asked in the end semester examination. This is the basic question addressing to course outcome 1, which is understanding the concepts of objects and classes. Let us move on to the other program. So I am again creating the new file. Then question number 2. So the aim of this program is write a program to add two user entered distances in feet and inches implement this by passing objects as arguments. So this is the aim. This question is for 5 marks addressing to CO2. So let us start. Include iostream dot h, then hash include conio.h. These two header files will be required. So let us create class. So you have to demonstrate passing object as argument, right? And two user distances you have to have. So let us create a class called as distance. Again we will create the blank format first so that there will not be any error. This can be called as modular programming. You are just developing small modules. Distance D1 and D2. So then again I have to create some variables. So public void get data is the first function which I will require. Then secondly we have to add. So I will create void add. Then just to display the results of addition, display, right? So now I will add the function. So before that just declare what is required. So I will add int feet and inches as two variables, and I will take int sum or total as other variable, right? So now I will ask cout enter feet and inches, right? Now cin feet and inches. Just check the spellings. Whenever you are writing anything, just check spellings of class name, variable name, etc. So now this will take the feet and inches. So let us create some objects and call the functions. d1.getData will take the inches and feet distance in d1 object. Then d2.getData, this will get feet and inches in other object. So four values in total you have to enter. So now we have to pass the object d1 and d2, suppose you are passing, or you can simply pass one object d1 dot add and you are passing object d2 there, right? So or we can do one thing, we can pass both the objects. We will just create one more variable, that is d3, and we can pass both the objects. So I am just d3 dot add d2 d1 comma d2, right? So I am passing both the objects so that I can call d3 dot display to display the addition of the numbers. Finally get ch, right? So now I will be writing this function. Now since the syntax of add function must match with the syntax in main function, so I have to collect d1 and d2 into objects. So I am now collecting distance, let's say m, and distance n. So the content of d1 object will get passed to m object, and content of d2 object will be accumulated in n object. So now you can add. So let's see. So I will create one more object, that is, let's say distance d. So d dot feet is equals to m dot feet plus n dot feet. So the two elements in m object, that is feet and inches, and two elements in n object you have to add. So d dot inches is equals to m dot inches plus n dot inches. So now we are adding feet from m object and feet from n object, and we are accumulating results into d object, right? So d dot inches equals to m dot inches plus n dot inches. We are doing the same for inch variable also. Now since you are accumulating the results in the object d, you have to return this object d, right? So I will just return the object d, and I will change this from void to distance. All right. So now I am returning the object d. So since I have returned this object, I may write d3 equals to d3 plus display. So whatever it will return, it will accumulate in d3 object. Not here. I have to write here. So let's write now the display function. Cout feet is equals to feet, and cout inches is equals to inches. So this will separately display. Let us save the program and run the program. So just enter, for example, 1 feet and 5 inches in the one object. Let us enter 2 feet and 3 inches in the second object. So you can see the addition is displayed like 3 and 8. So this is the solution for the second program which was asked in the end semester examination. Now there are multiple ways in which you can demonstrate. So you can select any way. It is up to you whether to select return as return objects as argument, or you can simply skip the display function and you can directly print the addition over here only. Suppose you do not want to return the object, so what it would program would look like. So I will be not returning this object. I will simply write, I would not require display function as well if you're not returning the object, right? So I would simply include this display over here, and I will simply write d dot fit here so that it will display the content of d object here only and not by passing. So this display function will not be required, but this is the standard format. You just get data in get data function, second function which will represent the processing element, and the third function, that is display function, will only display the values after processing. So this is the way you can be doing. So again I am entering 2515 and 22 suppose. So again you are getting the addition of feet and inch. So you can do this as per your choice, but the objective must be achieved. That is, you have to pass object as argument. So this step is very important, that either you can pass two objects or three objects or one object, but passing object is mandatory, right? And here the m will become d1 and n will become d2. So this is, here you are collecting the objects, right? So I hope you have understood this program as well. Let us move on to the third question from the end semester examination, which is based on the return type. So let's create a new file again. I'm just writing the aim of this experiment. So aim of this program is to demonstrate accessing of private and public variables and member functions. And next is, what is the description of error when external functions try to access private variables of the class. So let us create a class. First include the files iostream.h and conio.h. Create a class, suppose number. Now I am creating one variable as private. Integer a is private, and in public section I am declaring one more variable, that is integer b, right? So I'm just creating get data for that. Now I will not ask the user to enter values because this is just the demonstration program. So here I am setting the value a equals to 10 in the get data and b is equals to 20, right? And I will just one more write function that is just to display the values, that is cout a equals to a and cout b is equals to b, right? So let's then this, then void main, then clr scr, then just create one object number n dot get data, n dot display, right? So you are now accessing private variables through public function, which is okay. So let us run the program whether it is running. So it is perfectly running. Now just try to access the private variable integer b. No, not private variable is integer a. So I will just write, suppose n dot a is equals to 100. So I am trying to access the a variable from main function. Let's check whether this is working. Or I will put this statement before display so that we can see the value of a, right? So let's run the program. So this is the error which you are getting, that is number scope resolution a is not accessible. So that means you cannot have access to private variable of the class. So this you have to write here, that is functions try to access variable. So this is the error you have to write. So let us try to give another variable, that is b, which is a public variable, and let's now run the program. So you are not getting any error, it is clearly running. So a equals to 10, b equals to 100. So the value of b is changed. So this shows that public variable can be accessible from outside the class, but not private variables. So these are the 3 questions, right? So you just practice some more questions similar to this. Okay. Okay. Thank you for watching. If you have any queries related to this, you can comment.